Life's unexpected twists and turns, those unpredictable moments that weave through the tapestry of our existence, can usher forth changes for those who remain connected. I find immense gratitude for those who have stayed in touch, recognizing that time is a fleeting commodity, and expressions of love become precious currency. As seasons change, so have I, undergoing subtle transformations that resonate within the folds of my being. There is an acknowledgement that time, that elusive entity, slips away, leaving little room for the love that is sent across the continuum. Imagine the archetypal family scenario unfolding before you. I, Trevor Frutin, at the age of 45, stand as the patriarch, a man with a receding hairline, not adorned with chiseled abs but maintaining a decent physical shape, perhaps with a few pounds to shed. My preference leans towards contacts over glasses, and as of now, I've managed to avoid the need for reading glasses. My counterpart, Michella, mirrors my age and comes with a well-rounded figure, a slight tummy, and the distinct choice of wearing glasses. She insists on the usage of her full name. Then, there's our daughter, Ally, a 21-year-old college senior who has evolved since her high school volleyball days, gaining both knowledge and a few pounds. Fiercely independent and vocal about women's rights, she remains tethered to us, her reliance accentuated by the financial challenges we face. The dynamics of our family extend to the financial realm, with me being the sole breadwinner. In a bid to spare Ally the burden of student debt, she resides at home. Yet, this cohabitation doesn't compromise the indulgences Michella and Ally enjoy. While I drive an aging Ford 150, they navigate in luxury cars, funded by home equity loans that have tied up our modest home's equity. Our suburban existence adheres to typical suburban customs, with occasional block parties and distant relations with our neighbors, except for the next-door family, whose daughter Sally is Ally's closest friend. As Ally embarked on her college journey, a void crept into my life, disrupting the equilibrium we had known. Even my volunteer work failed to fill the emptiness, prompting me to question Michella's happiness one night. "Are you happy?" I asked. Michella, with her glasses perched on her nose, reassured me, "We're fine. I have no complaints." Unsatisfied with the reassurance, I probed further, urging her to consider seeking a counselor for balance and improved mood. Though initially dismissed, 2 weeks later, Michella commenced weekly sessions with a life coach. While one might assume that this shift would inject vigor into our intimate life, our routine persisted, and I found solace in the familiar rhythm of twice-a-week connections. The question of our normalcy in this realm remains unanswered, for I've never engaged in such discussions, respecting the boundaries of privacy in this intimate sphere. The adjacent neighbors, Mark and Cindy, in their 60s, carry their unique narrative. Mark, not particularly handy, engages in conversations with Cindy about the recurring scratching noise of our sliding patio door, a subtle reminder of the intertwining lives in our suburban enclave. Haven't laid eyes on him in what feels like an eternity, so here I am, perched in the backyard gazebo, idly soaking in the ambient sounds of nature. Caught wind of Eli's conversation, an unintentional eavesdrop that revealed intriguing tidbits. He's somewhere inside, his vehicle parked conspicuously. My ears perked up, disbelief taking hold as I heard Ally utter those unexpected words, "God, Mom, you're outdated. Give Max a try." Apparently, Sally deems him a wild one, urging satisfaction. Astonishment mingled with a tinge of indignation as I realized they've been discussing our intimate life, my grievances unwittingly broadcast to our daughter. Fury simmered within as I listened to the insinuation that perhaps Max is the answer to spice things up. The audacity. Sally suggested orchestrating a meeting, inviting Max over through Jeff, emphasizing Max's scrawniness but purported prowess. Incensed, I ruminated, so, my own daughter conspires with her friend to set me up with a stranger? Anguish surged through me, and in the ensuing silence, my anger reached a boiling point. The conniving duo, mother and daughter, seemed to be plotting against the sanctity of my marriage, a bewildering betrayal. Angrily concluding the call, I found myself in a tempest of emotions. The week that ensued witnessed a domestic atmosphere fraught with tension and discontent. I deliberately antagonized Michella and Ally, retreating to my office or the garage to escape the oppressive atmosphere. My tools received meticulous attention as I sharpened and cleaned them with unwarranted intensity. Despite the turmoil, I pressed on with my hunting trip, delegating someone to monitor Michella's activities in my absence. Eli's playful slap on Michella's behind, accompanied by forced giggles, intensified my unease. A heavy weight settled on my chest, amplified by concerns about potential exposure while hunting. Deciding to sleep on the living room couch to avoid Michella, I feigned illness, claiming breathing difficulties as a pretext for a doctor's visit the next day. Securing approval for the day off from my understanding boss, I crafted a plan to feign a COVID diagnosis, leveraging accumulated sick leave and vacation time. As I checked into an extended stay hotel, I sensed Michella's relief upon hearing about my imminent return in time for Christmas Eve. Calls from Michella and Ally came twice daily, my responses polite yet laden with feigned weariness. My time in quarantine became a crucible for plotting revenge and meticulous preparations. Updating will beneficiaries and emergency contacts became intertwined with the challenge of hunting for a new apartment, underscoring the gravity of my decision to divorce Michella and usher Ally into an independent existence. Enveloped in a cauldron of anger, my mind entertained a spectrum of vengeful thoughts, from the incriminating to the legally dubious. The notion of hiring an escort to entrap Jeff, inspired by a news story, danced on the periphery of my consciousness, a manifestation of the tumultuous turmoil within me. The situation unfolded like a double-edged sword poised to inflict pain not just on Michela but also on Ally, a consequence I believed she deserved. Our artificial tree adorned with blinking red, white, and green lights emitted a festive aura, while the scent of pine cones hung in the air. As we congregated around the dining room table for our Christmas Eve tradition, a practice meticulously preserved for 23 years, the initial two without Ally, the mood was tinged with anticipation. Michela had prepared a meal, laid out before us, a tableau of holiday cheer. Typically, we'd commence with a brief prayer of gratitude, but on this occasion, I rose with a different intention. It wasn't going to be a light-hearted toast. My first query was directed at Jeff, probing about Heather, an inquiry that drained color from his face. Eli's curious gaze focused on him, their enduring high school romance seemingly on the precipice of change. Jeff, caught off guard, stammered, claiming ignorance of a Heather. I persisted, mentioning the raven-haired beauty with ruby lips he had been with the previous Sunday night. His feeble denials lacked conviction. Summoning Michela and Ally back into the room, their shocked and tearful expressions awaited an explanation. I divulged the origin of the recording. Heather wasn't her real name. She was an expensive escort hired by me to seduce Jeff and record the encounter. A video accompanied the revelation, and Eli's exclamation pierced the air. "Daddy, what the hell? You hired her?" I confessed to the betrayal, prompting an introspective query from me on how it felt to be stabbed in the back. Michella emitted a small noise, her eyes briefly darting toward and away from her mother, both women now in tears. The atmosphere thickened as Jeff, with a solemn demeanor, switched my cell phone to video mode, took a folder, and faced Michella. "Trevor Frutin, you've been served," he declared, handing her the divorce papers. The impact of those papers surpassed the ambience of pine cones, and the room hung in silence as Michella, regaining composure, faced the stark reality unfolding before her. In the aftermath of the tumultuous events, Ally and Michella sought solace in the master bedroom, their consoling whispers barely audible through the closed door. Outside, I assumed control of the situation, orchestrating the execution of my plan. An early graduation gift for Ally, a symbol of transition, was loaded onto a carrier and discreetly driven away. Her car's entirety, now reduced to a trash bag, sat desolately on the front porch. Following suit, Michela's bearish motor and work departed, but unlike Eli's swift removal, her possessions found a new home in a 23-year-old sedan, emblematic of our lengthy marriage. Considering the legalities, my lawyer reminded me of the obligation to provide transportation for Michella. With credit cards nullified and Eli's cards canceled due to my co-signer status, I indulged in another shot of bourbon. The cell phones met the same fate, save for a basic phone with limited functions bestowed upon Michella. Ally received no such courtesy. Both their iPhones, adorned with all the bells and whistles, found refuge in the garage. A for sale sign swiftly planted in the front yard marked the beginning of our altered future. Although the house couldn't be sold immediately due to Michella's name on the title, The symbolic gesture served as an unspoken proclamation of what lay ahead. Shunning the festive Christmas music playing in the living room, I retreated to the basement. The darkness enveloped me, offering solace, especially as the chaos unfolded above, realizing the non-functionality of their possessions. The epithets hurled my way, while less than Christian, paled in comparison to the ones echoing in my empty hotel room as I meticulously prepared for this pivotal day. The suggestion to talk emerged, speculating about my whereabouts, pondering whether I had gone for a walk. Observing my car still at home, but theirs missing. They questioned if I had taken it. The unfamiliar car parked in front fueled their suspicion, leading them to believe their phones had been canceled. Their decision to seek help from Cindy to use her phone temporarily restored calm in the house, but it turned into a tactical error. Seizing the opportunity, I locked the entry doors, trapping them outside without working phones or credit cards, their purses abandoned inside. Shredding their driver's licenses, I felt no remorse, anticipating the discomfort they would face as they embarked on rebuilding their lives. Refilling my shot glass, I turned on the television, briefly diverting my attention to a cheesy, feel-good special that stood in stark contrast to our grim reality. Opting for silence, I found solace, but the commotion at the front door disrupted the quietude. As Michella and Ally returned, the revelation struck. Ally's belongings in the trash bag elicited a shriek, unveiling the reality of my actions. Michella, grappling with disbelief, insisted I wouldn't do such a thing, but Ally speculated that my actions extended to selling her beloved car. Amidst the chaotic exchange, I taunted them from behind the locked door, revealing the keys to Michella's new car, an orange and green Malibu parked outside. As the doorbell incessantly rang, their indignant pleas became a cacophony, and I suggested Michella seek refuge with Max, insinuating he might still hold a flame for her. One of them emitted a startled yelp, exclaiming lock, while the other, perhaps realizing the futility, uttered, "He knows Trevor, please let me explain." Michella, in a feeble attempt to prolong the conversation, injected a few seconds of silence before attempting a sweeter tone. "Trevor, I know you can hear me. Say something. Merry Christmas. You better leave, Michie, and take that woman with you." The subsequent minutes witnessed the ignition of the aging Malibu, its roar echoing through the air, a sound that hinted at a dire need for a new muffler. Yet, the practicality didn't surprise me, considering the practically gifted nature of the car, a mere token to rid the previous owner of his burden. Without any fanfare, the two traitors, as I dubbed them, departed from the house. It had been a considerable duration since carbon monoxide poisoning due to a malfunctioning muffler had been a cause for concern, though I couldn't help but entertain a fleeting wish for a stroke of luck, acknowledging its improbability. An hour later, my father-in-law's number illuminated my cell phone, a call I deliberated on answering. Opting for voicemail, his message revealed the turmoil brewing at his end. "Hey Trevor, got a couple of upset women here. Thought you might be able to shed some light on the situation. Call me. By the way, Merry Christmas." Muting my cell, I sipped on spiked eggnog, gradually easing down from the adrenaline rush that had coursed through my veins. The artificial tree's blinking lights served as a lullaby, and I succumbed to sleep. Days later, Michella traced me to my hotel, the sun having long set, a bitter breeze accompanying her presence. Leaving the latch on the door, I half expected another solicitation, perhaps for a youth sports team. Instead, a pale-faced Michella, devoid of her usual makeup and elaborate hairdo, stood before me pleading, "Trevor, please don't close the door." I didn't close it entirely, responding, "What do you want, Michie?" She implored, a chance to explain. "Can I come in?" Firmly, I replied, "No." Undeterred, she continued, "Please, Trevor. Your neighbors don't need to hear this." My retort echoed, "What part of no don't you understand? I'd be happy to explain it to you." She persisted, "Okay. Let me start by saying how sorry I am. I can't explain my actions." Curious, I asked, "What actions are you talking about, Michie?" She softly revealed, "Having closeness with Max." A revelation hit me. "You had something with Max?" She admitted, "I suspected, but now it's confirmed. Actions have consequences." Unfazed, I retorted, "Wait, you were going to divorce me without any proof?" She responded, "Guessed right, didn't I? Have you found an attorney yet? I replied, I'm working on it, but we don't need a divorce. She pleaded, I'll do anything you want to save our marriage. My response cut through, a little late for that. Why didn't you decide to do I? The plea echoed through the room, anything to save our marriage, a month ago. My response, a resolute declaration, cut through the air. I know why. It's because you're selfish and think you're above consequences. You thought you could do whatever you wanted without repercussions. The questions surfaced. Relentless, did you tell me immediately? A day later? A week later? How many others have there been? Michella recoiled at the venom lacing my voice. As I asserted, that was the only time. You have to believe me. One stupid decision shouldn't doom our marriage. Undeterred, I pressed further. Which stupid decision? I count many. Planning to cheat might get you a reprieve. Cheating is a deal breaker. Hiding your cheating ensured no chance of reconciliation. Worst of all was involving your daughter. Your daughter, as I want nothing to do with her anymore. This is all on you. If you had kept your bedroom matters private, she would have never been involved. I hate you. As the drama unfolded, some neighbors reveled in the spectacle. She pleaded, Trevor. I said I'm sorry. How can I make this up to you? My response remained unyielding. You can't. I hope I'm better off without you. Maybe I will be. Maybe I won't, but it's on my terms. Divorce your cheating self and move on. Understand, please, Trevor. I know you're hurting, angry, but please don't do anything for a couple of weeks. It was just one afternoon. What can I do to convince you? My reply was blunt, just leave and never bother me again. Now, if you'll excuse me, halftime is over, and the bowl game is starting again. Thanks for stopping by. Not. Instead of monthly support, Michella received a substantial share of the proceeds from the sale. Ally and Jeff went their separate ways, with Jeff blaming me for setting him up with Heather. The blame game persisted. I wasn't there with Heather, he was, and he was weak, like most men his age. A seductive woman could easily lead them astray. As for Michella, angry voicemails were left, but my calls remained unanswered. I neither received an invitation nor attended her graduation. The situation posed a particular challenge for Mela, who hadn't held a full-time job since our marriage. My attorney prolonged the financial matters, as, eventually, after the prolonged process of selling the house concluded, I repaid all the money. The court ruling dictated that she should have been receiving maintenance, and now both our comfortable lifestyles were obliterated. Melancholy lingered during attorney conferences, where Mela attempted to convey her foolishness, yet my stoicism prevailed, occasionally giving way to a few tears. Hate, a formidable emotion, seemed beyond my control. 12 months later, the Christmas Eve tradition persisted in my apartment, accompanied by the presence of Macy, a friend who shared a similar tumultuous experience. Our companionship wasn't romantic. I wasn't ready for that yet. After we finished cleaning up the dishes, Macy led me to the middle of the living room, and we danced closely. Though at times I missed the warmth of a willing woman against me, after about 10 songs, Macy wiped away a tear and departed. We were both damaged goods. Allie's tone in the monthly voice messages she left shifted, sounding apologetic, but I never returned her calls. My mother inadvertently disclosed that Michella had moved in with someone new, a revelation met with surprising indifference. Small talk with people gradually resumed, though former co-workers continued to avoid me, while new acquaintances deemed me eccentric. Making friends posed a challenge, but I successfully bridged the gap with Macy, and we maintained our friendship. In late January, a letter arrived from Ally, sparking a debate on whether to open it. Curiosity triumphed, revealing a short note and a selfie. The note read, Daddy, I'm sorry that I did you wrong. As you can see in the picture, I'm pregnant. I was wondering if you could find it in your heart to include a grandchild in your life. If not, I understand. Love, Ally. The return address indicated a few counties over, with no mention of a husband in the picture. Torn between resentment for the havoc she wreaked on my life and the desire for grandchildren, I took a few weeks to respond. Meanwhile, Macy and I parted ways, recognizing that our presence in each other's lives served as mutual support. She chose to move far away and start anew. To maintain sanity, I embraced pickleball at the rec center, a game akin to tennis but with distinct rules. Over time, I played with individuals of similar abilities, evoking memories of junior high school. A mishap during one game resulted in accidentally hitting Shannon, a fellow player. Teasing ensued, suggesting I should kiss it to make it better. As we headed out, she asked if I could buy her a soft drink, deeming me very quiet and shy. We strolled to a nearby Jamba Juice, continuing our conversation. Shannon proved to be an engaging conversationalist, prompting her to inquire about my relationship history. She probed further, did she die or leave you? My response cut through, she cheated on me, and I either couldn't or wouldn't accept it. It's been a few years, and, well, I guess I'm not over it. Shannon then asked, what about you? Are you dating anyone? I replied, no one. She seemed surprised. Really? I elaborated. I go on dates, but that's about it. Shannon shared, when was the last time you went on a date? I inquired. She confessed, well, I haven't been on a proper date since we separated. I've had people over for dinner, but that's it. Curiosity guided my next question. When did your marriage end? Shannon revealed, that was December 26 months ago. I reassured her, pretty sad, isn't it? She agreed, not really. When I was dumped for a younger woman, it took me a couple of years to regain the confidence to try again. This entire conversation was making my palms sweaty, a detail Shannon noticed. Let's change the subject, I suggested. Why did you start playing pickleball? Shannon explained, my self-pity was getting tiresome, so I thought I needed something new to do. I shared, that's how I got into it too. My friends convinced me, and I've come to enjoy it. How about you? Shannon said, yeah, I got a paddle, and playing is helping me come out of my shell. Well, I have to run. See you tomorrow. I'm playing at 4 p.m. I replied, sure, nice chatting with you, Shannon. She offered some encouragement, you too, Trevor. Hang in there. Things will only get better. That evening, I felt good enough about myself to respond to Ally. Ally, I'm willing to try. You and I will never be close, but I'd like to at least meet my grandchild. Please let me know when the time is right. Under no circumstances will I be in the same room as your mother, Miss Fruin. As Ally showed in the selfie, I estimated a May or June delivery date. I'm not sure if Ally received my response, as I haven't received another letter from her. The next day at pickleball, Shannon was quite flirtatious, as were a few other ladies. It felt good. After hitting a particularly good shot, Shannon said, you know, Trevor, you look really good in that shirt. I bet you look even better out of it. The women giggled as my face turned red. Funny you should say that, Shannon. I was thinking that you looked really good in those yoga pants. I bet you'd look even better out of them too. There was hysterical laughter as Shannon turned bright red. Then the ladies started chanting, take them off. Take them off. I obliged and took my shirt off. Shannon shook her head vigorously while wagging her finger at me, as if I was in trouble. A few of the ladies whistled as I put my shirt back on. Shannon mouthed, you're terrible at me. I blew her a kiss. After the games, there was some light-hearted banter among the ladies, with one of them joking about looking great out of yoga pants. Shannon impatiently waited her turn. Chapter. The cozy atmosphere of Shannon's home was filled with warmth and laughter as we gathered for the traditional Christmas Eve dinner. Shannon, Ollie, and I were a blended family of sorts, and little Bonnie added an extra layer of joy to the occasion. As we engaged in a friendly conversation, sharing stories and memories, the bond between us strengthened. Shannon, with her vibrant spirit, asked if I'd buy her a soft drink, and I responded with a smile, I was just about to ask you. Shannon playfully remarked, nice yoga pants, huh? Pretty proud of yourself, aren't you? As we enjoyed our drinks, the ease of our camaraderie encouraged me to take a step further. I mustered the courage to ask Shannon out for dinner and a movie, fearing rejection after being out of the dating scene for over 27 years. Thankfully, she agreed, and with each passing date, my initial cluelessness, awkwardness, and fear began to dissipate. Shannon surprised me one evening with a personal question, inquiring about my thoughts during our intimate moments. Pausing to appreciate her, I shared my insecurities, wondering what she saw in a person like me. I responded, a mirror reflection. Our passionate connection deepened, and as we became more intimate, Shannon introduced me to her family and grandchildren. Initially awkward due to their protective nature, they gradually accepted me. In early June, as Shannon cuddled up to me in bed, she suggested celebrating our closeness. The moment grew more passionate, and as we made love for an extended period, it marked a milestone in our relationship. Soon after, I sent flowers to Ollie to acknowledge the birth of her daughter Bonnie. In response, I received an overnight letter from Ally expressing sincere apologies and a desire to reconnect. She acknowledged the lessons I tried to teach her and the changes she had undergone, mentioning her daughter Bonnie and the possibility of us reuniting. 6 months and a few weeks later, the traditional Christmas Eve dinner was hosted in my apartment. Shannon, Ollie, and I held Bonnie, symbolizing the evolving dynamics of our newfound family. I delivered the Christmas blessing, and we all dined and exchanged gifts. Shannon and I spent the night at her house, marking a change in our relationship. 12 months later, we celebrated Christmas Eve at Shannon's house, and life had moved forward. Contentment had found its way into my heart, and the holiday season was a testament to the resilience of love and the beauty of second chances.